ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my show. My name is Pat Lawrence, and today what we're going to talk about is the stigma of mental illness. And perhaps you people out there don't even realize it, but mental illness is like the last frontier. And a lot of people through childhood have learned how to stigmatize the mentally ill. And today we're going to try to get rid of a little bit of that. It's like chopping down a wall brick by brick. And to my left, I have my wonderful friend Gisela Morales-Barreto. And to her left, I have Jackie Soul. Hi, girls.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, we're going to have a really big conversation on this stigma thing because it really bothers me. And Gisela, regarding people with a mental illness, we know that a lot of the stigma comes from the media. I mean, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that if a person with a mental illness goes out there and perhaps does something bad, well, it's instantly, they just leap on it, and it's in all the papers about this mentally ill person.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't talk that much about a quote-unquote chronically normal person who goes out and does the same thing. It's not as stigmatized.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about that?
I totally agree with you. I mean, I think it's something that, reporters in general, the media in general should be more aware of and more careful about, because sometimes, the life of the person is totally destroyed because immediately, without knowing really the facts, there you go, you have it, and everybody who shoots somebody, is mentally ill, and that doesn't really is the case.
Mm-hmm.
Many times we have people that, for whatever the circumstances, choose to do that,
mm-hmm.
but they're not mentally ill. I also think many times when that happens is that even before it goes, out, they're preparing the defense, and it's easier to go through a process of, a judicial process of saying that the person is mentally ill, so that the person is fewer years in prison or whatever, than really addressing the facts. So I know for a fact that people who suffer mental illness are not necessarily, gun shooters or, people that go and rape people. That's not the case.
Right.
And what happens is, at the end of the day, that the people who are trying to go and reinvent their lives, because of the stigma of mental health, they're being put down with that kind of, reporting and that kind of information that more likely not necessarily is true.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jackie.
Yes.
Jackie, you don't mind my telling anyone who's listening out there that you are a consumer of mental health benefits, right?
Yes, I have no problem with that.
No problem with that. That's phenomenal. You have no idea how happy I am that people come out and say, okay, I have a mental illness. So what? So what?
Mm-hmm.
I am trying so hard. I am doing what everybody, I mean, you're beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful. And you're so pretty, and you're so well dressed. And do you have trouble as far as stigma is concerned, as far as society is concerned? What do you think when you see in the papers this mentally ill person did this? And
I pity them. I pity them so much, because they're one person out of 100, maybe 1,000, maybe more, that they're atypical.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the average person that suffers. Right. They're taking the worst case scenario, and then people like myself and others are being dumped into the same category.
Mm-hmm.
And their issues are not my issues. My issue is post-traumatic stress disorder, which is very different from someone coming back from Iraq. I had my own issues growing up,
mm-hmm.
which led me to have those problems. I have depression, severe depression at times.
Mm-hmm.
I have agoraphobia.
And just for you to come over here.
was amazing. I had to have
amazing.
someone walk me over here
Yes.
because I trust her.
And
Going outside for me is a big deal, but with friends and the right people, I can go to certain places. It can be very difficult to go to a store and be in a store. Sometimes I just have to leave. And it's difficult. And to be lumped in with people who are so-called snipers or murderers or this or that breaks my heart, because I'm not like them, and I'm trying to rebuild my life, so-called change the way I think. There are old tapes running in my head. I'm no good. I'm bad. I shouldn't think that way. I can't do it. I'm rotten. I'm no good. I have to take those old thoughts and put in new thoughts that I am a good person. I can do this. I'm strong. But to get over those old tapes is very, very difficult.
and you're working very hard at it.
I am. I have a great therapist. I take my medications as I'm supposed to. And every day is a new day. Just because I trip up one day doesn't mean when I get up the next day, it's a new slate for me. And I'm
great.
blessed.
You are. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, so touching on society, and I think society from childhood gets into stigma. I think even from the television, little kids watching cartoons and the Looney Tunes. I mean, you got it right there. And they talk about the wackos and the nuts out there, and nuts to me is a four-letter word. You know, it's not a very good description of any person. So therefore, to me, society brings up their kids with stigma and doesn't even realize it.
Well, I think it's, you know, the whole issue of, you know, stereotypical, you know, things that we all create in our heads, you know. And so who would say, you know, Jackie going down the street that she's mentally ill? Nobody. Nobody would know that. And here we are, you know, sitting at this table, and she feels comfortable sharing her own story because that is going to help other people. But if you didn't know her, you wouldn't know that she has that kind of a problem. So we tend, you know, as a society, to stereotype people and make, you know, this definition, this recipe of a mentally ill person, when in fact, the truth of the matter is, Pat, and you and I know that, and Jackie also knows this, you know, the truth of the matter is that we all deal with mental illness. When are you not depressed? When are you not, you know, down? Where, you know, who do you know or you don't know that has a mental illness? We all have.
Right.
You know, and even before the program started, you and I were talking about, you know, when somebody has cancer and how important, you know, the mental health piece is. And many people who have gone through cancer eventually, you know, could have depression be a side effect of the cancer. It could be, you know, anxiety as a side effect. And who would know that? Right. So, but we are dealing with mental health, you know, individually, say it or not out loud to the world, we all have some